Two men whose incarceration sparked an armed takeover at the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge will soon be free. President Trump today pardoned Dwight Hammond Jr. and his son Stephen Hammond. The two were convicted of arson for starting a fire on federal land. That led to protests that eventually ended with the armed takeover. Today, CBS 2's Scott Logan is live in the Satellite Center to explain how those close to the Hammonds are reacting to the news.
Dwight Hammond Jr. and his son Stephen were convicted, as you said, in 2012 of committing arson on federal land, and their legal dispute led to the armed takeover of the Malheur Wildlife Refuge in 2016, an occupation that was led by brothers Ammon and Ryan Bundy. Now today I spoke with the patriarch of the Bundy family, Cliven Bundy, in Nevada about this pardon. Cliven Bundy says President Trump's pardon of Dwight Hammond and his son Stephen comes as a welcome surprise.
Yeah, I am excited. Now, my wife has had contact with Susan Hammond, which is Dwight's wife, and confirmed that it is happening. She said she was still in her nightgown. She didn't know really what to think about it. It tells us that maybe we have a future. Maybe this country does have some justice. But, you know, this pardon has come at a great price.
The Hammonds said they started a fire on their property in Oregon to protect it from wildfires and to get rid of invasive plants. Then the fire spread out of control to federal land. But federal prosecutors said it was started to cover game violations. Both men are currently in prison on 5-year sentences.
And President Trump finally woke up to the point that, hey, these men were innocent, and I guess pardoned them.
The perceived unjust sentence for the Hammonds inspired Cliven Bundy's sons, Ammon and Ryan, to lead an armed takeover of the Malheur Wildlife Refuge, which lasted more than a month. One of the occupiers, Lavoy Finicum, was shot and killed by police when he attempted to run a roadblock in his truck. Cliven says that's the price of the pardon.
One thing has come to you with a price of a death of a great man. Lavoy Finicum's life was taken because of this.
The Bundys became heroes to some for their stand on local control of federal land, but the Hammonds distanced themselves from the wildlife refuge occupation and never endorsed the action. A handful of people pleaded guilty to charges related to that wildlife takeover, but the Bundys were not convicted of any charges related to the incident. Live in the Satellite Center, Scott Logan, CBS 2 News.
Scott, thank you. This afternoon, the Hammond family also responding to the pardon. The family's attorney released a statement saying, while we recognize that our path forward will still be difficult, like it is with virtually all ranching families, we are hopeful that this action by President Trump today will also help signal the need for a more measured and just approach by federal agents, federal officers, and federal prosecutors in all that they do. Oregon Representative Greg Walden asked President Trump to pardon the Hammonds. He also released a statement saying today is a win for justice and an acknowledgement of our unique way of life in the high desert rural West. But the Center for Western Priorities disagrees. In its statement, they say pardoning the Hammonds sends a dangerous message to America's park rangers, wildland firefighters, law enforcement officers, and public land managers.